It's the end of day one of the Grand Alaskan Adventure. We made it just a little bit north of Chicago, and we're in a Walmart parking lot somewhere. I don't know where exactly. Chicago was certainly something to experience today. Probably the most exciting thing that happened today. We also went through Indianapolis, and that's a very pretty city. We went through it at rush hour, and traffic slowed down so we could look at some of the buildings. Of course, we got stuck in traffic in Chicago for quite a while, so traffic stopped, and we were able to look at all the buildings. The trains running down the middle of the interstate in Chicago were just kind of unreal, and all the bridges, I mean, it was, for lack of a better word. And I was actually grateful when traffic stopped, because it was moving so fast and there was so much of it, and then there was a train running down the middle of the interstate. So going through it slow was better, even though it seemed to take forever for us to get through. We didn't get here until, I think it's like 10:30 now. And we left Tazewell. We stopped to say goodbye to everybody at about 10 o'clock this morning. So anyways, tomorrow I think we're going to be headed into Wisconsin pretty quick. And we did pick a mascot. I want to introduce you to Bobert. And Bobert was lovingly handcrafted by Charlotte, and she gave it to me at Thanksgiving a couple years ago. He has a little brown bird there in his hand. Tomorrow we're heading northwest, and hopefully we'll make it to North Dakota anyway. But it is very late, and I am very tired, and me and Bobert are going to turn in. I'm just going to show you my cube here that I'm sleeping in, maybe. Like, it's literally that wide. I mean, the bed is about as wide as what I'm sitting on, and then there's a curtain, and there's more stuff. It's so small I can't even really pan around it. And my dad's sleeping out on the other side of the curtain. Another cool thing we saw today was a giant windmill farm. It seemed like it went on for miles and miles and miles, and it stretched past the horizon on both sides of the road. And Kentucky's always pretty going through it this time of year. All of the horse farms and stuff, and then before you get to the horse farms, there's the mountains. So it was a pretty good day. It rained some, and we had some really intense sun right at sunset in Chicago. Good night, everybody. Tomorrow's another day. Howdy, folks. Hillbilly Kitchen Alaska Adventure Day 2 update. We are in North Dakota near Fargo. We started out this morning just a little bit west of Chicago and Illinois, and we traveled through Wisconsin, Minnesota, and into North Dakota. So Bobert got to put 3 new states on our map this evening. We're not going to go into Canada tomorrow. We're going to stop at Roosevelt National Park and spend the night there and visit that before we head on north. We're about 1/3 of the way to our first real destination, which is Denali National Park in Alaska. Thank you so much for joining us, for following along, for your prayers, and for your support. Until next time, remember to put God first. Okay, this is why this is an adventure. When people get on here, they'll be able to watch this later. A vacation, everything is planned. You pack your suitcase, you go there, you do what you're going to do, you have an itinerary, you prop your feet up, you relax. On an adventure, you kind of make do with what you have, you react to the moment, and things don't always go right in the moment. But in this moment, I am in Fargo, North Dakota, just outside of Fargo. I'm on a river here. I still have the roar of the interstate, but it did quieten down last night. And it was cool enough that we could close the camper up and everything. They have a heated bathhouse here with hot showers, which was just wonderful last night. And he took advantage of that this morning. He was coming back. But the last 2 days have been very long and very rough. We aren't planning on staying on interstates this whole time, but we wanted to get up north. So, and the interstate's the way to do that. If you traveled anywhere, you know the interstates are tore all to pieces right now. So all day long, we have heard da 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 da, along with the roar, and then along with everything in the camper rattling. Tonight, we're going up to Roosevelt National Park, which is only about 300 miles. So we're not going to have that overpowering noise all day today, and just the drone on of the road all day. And get this away from my head just a tad here. Oh, we've got everything camped up. You can see Bobert over there in the windshield. Just a quick update on him. Charlotte made him and gave him to me for Thanksgiving a couple of years ago. And she really likes Mario Brothers, and he's supposed to be a Mario. But I thought he looked kind of like Brett, and everybody called Brett Bert. And then Alex's baby, they think they're going to name him Beauregard. So I combined the two names, the first grandson and Brett, and did Bobert. And that's how Bobert was born. And I needed something small to carry. The mascot was actually suggested by one of y'all, and I thought it was a cute idea, so I did it. There's my dad. He's a wave daddy. Say hi. It's the last 2 days have also been very hard on him. It's just worn us both out, like I said, the constant noise. So I'm really looking forward to getting up into the national park. I'm going to leave y'all with John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And folks, it is all about Jesus. If you ain't got him, you ain't enjoying nothing. I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to head up to the national park and get away from this roar for a day at least. I love you all. God bless you all. And I will talk to you as soon as I get service again. Until next time, remember to put God first. Day 3 was really the start of our trip. We were at a campground in Fargo, North Dakota, right at the eastern edge of North Dakota. We drove all the way across North Dakota today. We hit some crazy, crazy storms. Slowed down, didn't go over 60 miles an hour. We saw a lot of really pretty scenery, oil wells, this giant sculpture of geese flying. It's supposed to be one of the largest sculptures in the world or something. It was on the side of the interstate. It was really cool. Gosh, I had a lot of stuff. I hear some geese now. But we're camped now just about 30 miles maybe, if that far, from Montana. Maybe 50, 60 miles from the Canadian border. I don't know, it might be a little bit farther. I'm not sure how far south of the Canadian border we are. But this is Theodore Roosevelt National Park, the south part of the park, where the Painted Canyon is. We saw a herd of buffalo when we got here. We're in Cottonwood Campground. This is a super cheap campground. Has decent bathrooms if anybody's looking for a place to stay. Fairly level campsites. Abundant wildlife. The Little Missouri River. I mean, I just can't say enough good about this. And I really do feel like the trip started today. It's just been a very pleasant day. Not so hectic, not so rushed. And at this point, we're enjoying the journey and not so much worried about the destination. but just kind of going along and seeing what's along the way. I figure we've probably still got at least a week to get to Alaska. We are watching the wildfires up in Canada, and hoping that's not going to change our plans too much. But day 3 is definitely the best day so far. This place is just absolutely incredible. I'm in North Dakota in Theodore Roosevelt National Park on the banks of the Little Missouri River here. Last night the wind blew like this, and it was really, really nice. It was pleasant for sleeping. I could hear wolves howling, all sorts of birds and stuff. This place is just beyond words. And we have started the adventure now. Where we are is where we're going, and we're just going to be where we are and not focus on where we're going. This is a day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Don't take it for granted. Let your destination be where you are. This is Badlands Canyon in North Dakota. On the way to the northern unit of the Theodore Roosevelt National Park, and the wind is just unreal today. Had to leave poor Bobert in the van, or I would have sure lost him. But it goes all the way around and just on and on and on forever. The country that we live in is truly amazing. Day 4 was an absolutely amazing day. The weather was gorgeous, clear, just puffy clouds in the sky. We drove from the south unit of Theodore Roosevelt National Park to the north unit. We went back by the Painted Canyon. Then we drove through the national grasslands, past oil wells and farms filled with horses and cattle. Once we got to the North Park, we saw herds of buffalo, cannonball boulders, canyons and vistas that went on forever. The landscape was constantly changing. It was so windy, it was hard to stand up. The park was very rugged and wild. It was unlike any place I'd ever been before. Day 5 was kind of a frustrating day. We only made it about 200 miles. We crossed into Canada. The border crossing was difficult and frustrating. Once we got into Canada, we had no cell service, no GPS on the phones, could not get a map. We crossed over on a Sunday, so nothing was open. This is the beginning of day 6. Yesterday was extremely long and frustrating, and the weather was horrible. We had trouble at Border Patrol. We ended up coming through near Plentywood, Montana, and it rained all day. We got into Canada and could not find a map anywhere. Our GPS stopped working, and we still have not been able to find a map even after driving 150 miles to the nearest town. But today we're going to go to Walmart this morning and see if they sell a Canadian atlas. And day 6 is going to be better than day 5. I mean, look at this sunrise. How can it not be? And we don't have to deal with Border Patrol today. Day 6, it rained most of the day. We drove across the Canadian plains. We hit a pretty bad hailstorm. It was so bad we had to pull off the side of the road. There wasn't really much point in stopping.
We couldn't get out and walk around the van or anything because the weather was so bad. So I drove until I just could not drive anymore. I got just west of Edmonton and stopped in a McDonald's parking lot. I was just too tired to go on. Things really changed on day 7. We had some sun and still some rain, but we got totally new scenery. We reached the snow-capped mountains, wild rivers, rugged landscapes that were unlike anything I had ever seen before. We stopped in Jasper National Park in Canada and rode the sky tram up to the top of the mountain, or up to the side of the mountain. I'm not sure. There was a blizzard when we got to the top, and it was very hard to tell how high up we actually were. But it was an incredible experience, and I enjoyed it very much. We ate buffalo chili in the restaurant on the top. I really can't believe it's only been a week since I left home. I've seen more than I can remember, done more things than I ever imagined, been places that were majestic, learned more than I could possibly remember, survived more than I felt like dealing with. What will the next 5 weeks hold? This is not the trip of a lifetime. It's an adventure that has already changed my soul. I want to leave you this week with James 4:14. For what is your life? Is it even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then it vanishes away? Don't wait for someday. Live today and make it an adventure. God bless you, and until next time, remember to put God first.